Let's start converting our grayscale illustration containing 5 values to a color illustration containing 5 hues. The first thing that we can do is we can delete our template layer because we're not going to be using that anymore. And then in our swatches window, we have our custom folder with our 5 grayscale values. And there's a couple ways that we can create a new folder. So we're going to create a new folder with new swatches that contain our 5 hues. There's a couple ways we could do this. One is to hold the Option key and click and drag on the folder icon and create a copy of it that way. Another way is to double click on that folder icon and we can rename this. So let's name it 5 hues and hit OK and just say yes. And now we have a copy of our grayscale swatches. So let's go ahead and double click on the lighter swatch and take a look at what we have here. So yours may be different than this because you may have chosen a different percentage of black in order to create your lightest gray. You may even have white, which would be 0%. Mine is just 5%, which is really, really light. I think I'd like to go with more reddish hues. So I'm going to make a 5% magenta. And I think I'll do 5% yellow. Oops, 5% magenta and 5% yellow will make kind of actually more like an orange sort of color. And let me just put, for now, let me put my black at 0. And you can see a little preview of what we got here. If I leave the black on, it's a little bit darker. For now, let me turn it off. We might go back. Let's just try to make a color hue of just magenta and yellow. All right, so that's very light, and it's kind of almost hard to see the difference. But let's go to the next one. So I have 30%. Again, you might have a different percentage for that. So I'm going to stick with my same color combination here. I'm going to do 30% magenta and 30% yellow. And then let's make the black 0% for now. Hit OK. Let's go to the next one. I've got 50% black for that. Let's convert that to 50% magenta, 50% yellow, and 0% black. Now again, this is what I'm choosing. This is how I'm creating my colors or my hues, but yours may be different. You may go with something completely different. If you have a different type of image, maybe you're going with more like a green or a blue or something like that. But one thing that we do need to keep in mind is that our values, or our hues rather, should be going from lighter to darker, just like our values went from lighter to darker, because we need that range in there. All right, my next one, that's at 70% black. Let me try 70% magenta, yellow, and let's do 0% black and hit OK. Now for my black, I could, maybe I could leave my black the way it is, but I think I'm going to replace it with, I would like to replace it with this dark brown. So, I mean, I could make my own color here, but I see that there's a swatch in here that I think might be a good replacement. So I'm going to take this swatch, click and drag it down into this folder, and add that to my swatches. And I'm just going to click on the black swatch, and I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to drag it over to the trash can. So now, if you see that my color hue folder has 5 hues from lighter to darker, it's very similar, or it's sort of equivalent to my grayscale values, which go from lighter to darker. And I've got 5. So we want to maintain our 5 levels of light to dark, even though this is going to be color. And I would say this is sort of like a monotone type image that I'm creating here.